Peach pecan cherry conserve is one of those conserves that I really like to eat on waffles and pancakes, waffles with a little bit of vanilla ice cream. Now that's the stuff. This one is just kind of decadent. I really like it. The only downside is that I rarely have cherries and peaches that are in season at the same time. So what I end up having to do is have one of them fresh and the other canned. And I've done it both directions, but today I'm doing fresh cherries and canned peaches. I prepared my cherries by de-stemming them, washing off any residual spray, and pitting them. Even though I really like my pitting device, I always make sure that I go back through and check for any pits that have been missed. Especially since I'll be using the blender to chop up my cherries today. You could chop them up by hand or you could just mash them, but this works so great for me. You could also use a food processor. I just do the blender on its lowest speed, but definitely don't do the blender if you think that you've missed any pits. If you hear any in the blender when you're doing it, then you have to find a way to get them out. So I'll need 2 cups worth of chopped cherries. Generally speaking, about 4 cups worth of whole cherries will equal the 2 cups of chopped. So I'll blend this down and we'll see where it lands. I'll add my 2 cups of cherries to my pot, and then I'll chop up 5 cups worth of peaches. This usually takes a couple of jars, but one of the nice things is that the peaches are actually already sliced for me. I just need to make them a little bit on the smaller side. Looks like 2 quarts worth equaled 5 cups. So now I'll add my 5 cups of peaches, 3 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon of dry orange peel, and a half a teaspoon of butter, which just helps to keep the foaming down. I'll then place this on the stove and bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a full boil, I'll set my timer for 20 minutes. I'll want to stir it kind of regularly just to make sure that it doesn't burn. Now I'll add 1 cup of coarsely chopped pecans. This is really what makes the recipe. It's so good. I guess I kind of like this one too because it has all the flavor from the nuts as well as the fruit, but has just a little bit less sugar than like your standard jam would have. Now I'll fill my half-pint jars up to 1/4 of an inch of head space, which is the space from the top of the food to the top of the jar. The nuts tend to float, so I'm careful to make sure that I get some nuts in each of my jars. I'll use a clean damp cloth to wipe off the edge of my jars. This is just so that if anything got on the edge, that it won't interfere with the seal. I'll then place on my lids and rings until they're fingertip tight. I'm using Superb lids today. This is an American company, and I really like to support American-made products. Plus, the quality is very good. I really like the seal, just how squishy and deep it is, and it has a corrosion-resistant coating on it, actually 5 coatings on it, and that's a good thing for me because I store my items in my root cellar, and it's a little bit humid down there. I have a link as well as a 20% off coupon code in the description below. Now I'll process these in the boiling water bath for 15 minutes if at sea level. I'm at 1,200 feet, so I'll go for 20, but I won't start my timer until after it starts to boil. Now that the processing time is done, I'll turn off the heat, remove the lid, and let it cool for 5 minutes. I remove the jars from the canner and place them on a heat-resistant surface about 1 to 2 inches apart so that they can cool down quickly. I'll allow them to sit for 24 hours so that they can get a good seal. I can tell that they have a good seal if the center of the lid is depressed down. If it is, then I take off the rings and use hot soapy water to wash off the outside. And then I store it in a cool, dry, dark location, and I'll use it in the next 1 to 3 years. If for some reason I have any that didn't seal, I would put them in the refrigerator and use them right away. So the taste test. I love those pecans. They're so good. The first thing that hits me is the pecans. They're so delicious. And there's that little citrus component from the orange peel. And then, of course, the peaches and the cherries. I mean, it's just so good together.